video should just tell you that I have no self-control. That's the message of today. Hi, my name is Bailey and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a book haul, and these are books I've acquired over, I think, 2.5 months. I'm not exactly sure. I'm gonna say that. That feels correct. So, yeah, I have quite a few books to show you today. And yeah, let's just jump right in to this video. The first book I have to show you is Her Royal Highness by Rachel Hawkins. This is the sequel / companion novel to the first book in the Royals, I'm gonna say series. The first book in the Royal series is Prince Charming. And yeah, you do not have to read both, like you don't have to read the first book to read this book, so I did not actually read Prince Charming because this one interested me more because there was a female-female romance in it. I actually already read this. I read this in June for Pride Month, and I gave it 4 to 5 stars. I will talk about that in my June plus July wrap-up because I'm going to be combining those months together. But yeah, first off I want to say this cover is really pretty, like I just really, really love it. So this book follows Millie Quint, and she lives in Texas, and she is devastated when she finds out that her sort of girlfriend, sort of best friend has cheated on her, and she decides that she is going to go to Scotland and go to this fancy boarding school that she's been dreaming of going to for years. This boarding school has been famous for teaching the children of royals for years and years, and so now after I think 100 or so years, they've decided to let girls go to this boarding school, and so Millie is one of the first girls to ever go to this school. So when Millie gets there, she finds out that her roommate is actually Princess Flora of Scotland. You know, in the beginning, Flora doesn't really like Millie, and Millie doesn't really like Flora, and they want nothing to do with each other, and it kind of this book follows them developing a friendship and a relationship. Yeah, so this one has a female-female romance, and I'll talk about this more in my wrap-up for June and July. But yeah, I actually really enjoyed this book, and I would recommend it. The next book I have to show you is Kings, Queens, and Inbetweens by Tanya Bodaju. So, I bought this online at the same time I bought Her Royal Highness, and I really, really like the cover of this first off. Like, look at that, look at that, look at that beautiful spine. But I saw this, and I just decided to look into the description of it. It really, really interested me, and of course, Pride Month, I was like, let's go. I actually haven't read this yet. I really want to get to it soon. So basically, this book follows Nima, and she is bored with her life, and she has a crush on her straight friend, and she one day discovers the broad world of drag and Kings, Queens, and Inbetweens, as the title says, and she kind of like is thrust into the LGBTQ community and people who are super prideful of who they are, and I'm pretty sure she finds a new crush and possibly romance. I'm not exactly sure. This is a debut novel, and I'm really excited to get to this at some point. It's super pretty, and I'm hoping the inside is just as good. The next book I have to show you is Sunstone Volume 2 by this person. I cannot read their name. I'm not going to try to butcher that, but I've already read this, and I was kind of disappointed with it, but didn't hate it. I think I gave it 3 to 5 stars. So this series follows Allie and Lisa. I think it's Lisa. And basically, they are in a BDSM relationship, and it follows how they develop their BDSM sexual relationship, as well as Lisa and Allie having kind of like a romantic relationship as well. I know Lisa has a crush on Allie, and it kind of like follows them delving into a romance as well as having a sexual relationship. I'm actually really enjoying this. This book in particular I didn't love, but I do love the first book, and I do intend to continue with the series. If you want a steamy graphic novel that also has female-female relationships and such, this is really good. The next book I have to show you is My Favorite Half Nightstand by Christina Lauren. This book I've read about I'm like halfway through this book. I picked this up because I really loved Autobiography by Christina Lauren, and I'm really not liking this book, but I do intend to finish it. Hello. So this book basically follows Millie, and her friend group is strictly guys, and they're all strictly platonic with her. And then one night, Millie and Reed, one of her friends, have a steamy hookup together, a half nightstand, one could say, and everything gets a little complicated from there. But while this is all going on, there's a university function, because they all work at a university. There's a university function coming up, and they all need a date for it, because none of them are dating anyone, so. And they all start online dating, and Millie finds no luck, so she starts up a new account under her middle name, Catherine, and she matches with her friend, Reed. And she begins to catfish him, basically. And that's basically this book. So this book is basically just about catfishing. This chick's catfishing her friend. I don't really like it. I don't like the concept. Like, catfishing is just kind of gross and icky to me anyway, so that's me in this book. The next book I have to show you is Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo. This is the sequel to Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo, and this is the second book in the Grishaverse, or the Grisha trilogy. Yeah. I'm actually currently reading this. I'm 100 pages in. Basically, I can't really explain this book to you because it's a sequel. So basically, the Grisha trilogy follows Alina Starkov, and she finds out that she is a Grisha. And she is actually a really fun type of Grisha because she's a sun summoner. And guess what? There's no more of those. There's none of those right now. So she's special. And in this world, there's this thing called the Shadowfold, which is just like this big black area that splits Ravka, her country, in two. And they need to get rid of the Shadowfold because that's not helping them out in a war. So basically, she, being a sun summoner who controls light, is needed to destroy this Shadowfold, and that just follows her. It obviously delves out from that, but that's basically the best description I can give of it for you. I'm really lukewarm on the series. I didn't really like the first book. I gave it 2.5 stars. I don't think it's aged very well. It's like a 2012 fantasy, and you can really see that. This book, for the first 100 pages, I'm kind of enjoying it. Really, I love the side characters. They're really great, but I hate the main characters, so that's always a fun time. So we're going to continue with this book, but I will say that I love this cover. I think it's the best cover out of the series, and yeah, love it. Big Slytherin vibes, having a good time. The next book I have to show you is Unfollowing You by Kamal Kapoor. This is a poetry book I just picked up one day. I think it was the day I bought Siege and Storm. Also, side note, there's this random page that was printed wrong, and so it's just really long. I don't know, it's weird. But yeah, I've already read this. I gave this, I don't know how many stars I gave. I feel like I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Poetry for me doesn't usually get more than 3 or 5 stars because it's just poetry, and a lot of it's like, you know, Instagram poetry that some of it doesn't really make any sense. It's like it's in there to be artsy. I don't know. This is just basically following Kamal Kapoor's life with relationships and dating, and how she sort of got over a relationship that she was in. And I found some of the poems like really good. I really liked a few of them, but in general, this is a 3 out of 5 stars. Pretty good, pretty fine. The next book I have to show you is The Best Lies by Sarah Liu. Sarah, did I just say Sarah? No. Sarah Liu. So this book is a mystery, I think. This was a cover buy for me. Like, this is just beautiful in my opinion. Hello, baby. Hello. Okay, as I was saying, this was a big cover buy for me because this cover is really pretty to me. Like, I just think it's gorgeous. Like, that's a good cover. So basically, this book follows Remy, and her boyfriend Jack has just been killed by her best friend Elise. And that's basically like the inciting incident right there. This book follows 2 timelines, so it follows the timeline where Jack has just been killed, and we're in the aftermath with the police and the investigation, and also when Remy first met Elise and her friendship basically with Elise and her life up to the point where Jack was killed. So, I've actually started this book. I'm like 100 pages in. I've had to put this down to read Siege and Storm right now, but I'm really enjoying where I'm at right now. As you can tell with the title, The Best Lies, I'm like, I don't know what's the truth at this point. I'm not sure what really happened, so that's really exciting. I'm not usually a mystery person, but I've been trying to get into it more, so with the next 2 books you'll see that I've acquired a few thriller/mysteries to kind of get into the genre. So with that being said, the next book I have to show you is Sadie by Courtney Summers. As you've probably heard, if you've been anywhere around BookTube, BookTwitter, or Bookstagram, this book has been hyped to the nines. Everybody loves it. And so I want to try it out. I've had the audiobook on hold from the library for about 2 months, so it's very popular, and I still haven't gotten it yet. So I'm not exactly sure how to describe this book, because the way that I've heard it being described is basically there's a murder mystery, but a podcast also following it, so I'm pretty sure Maddie, Sadie's sister, has been brutally murdered, and now Sadie's on her way for revenge to avenge her sister, basically. And there's also, I think it's an alternate timeline, but I'm not exactly sure, the podcast that is following Sadie and what's going on with her. That's kind of what I think. I can give you probably a bad description, honestly, but that's the best I can do because I'm just like confused. It's like a mystery to me. I really want to read this, but I really want to listen to the audiobook for this one because I've heard it's really, really good, especially since there's a podcast in it, because I absolutely love podcasts. So much fun. Love them a lot. So I'm really excited to be able to listen to an audiobook where there's like a podcast element. That seems really exciting. The next book I have to show you is The Cheerleaders by Kara Thomas. So I've heard a lot of mixed reviews on this book. I've heard this book described as a good book for somebody who's just getting into the mystery/thriller genre, and me, being a person who does not read the mystery/thriller genre a lot, I thought this would be a good read. So yeah, I picked it up. So basically this book follows Monica, and her sister was a cheerleader, 5 years ago? I think it's like 5 years ago that this all occurred. And 5 years ago, all the cheerleaders were killed in some way or they've died. And now, 5 years later, things have occurred that have made Monica interested in finding out what really happened to these cheerleaders and her sister. That was a really bad description, I think, but that's the best I can do for you. Something's up with the cheerleaders. The next book I have to show you is The Thousandth Floor by Catherine McGee. So I saw, oh my god, I can't remember the person's video, but someone was talking about the last book and how they hated the last book in this series. But they also said that they really liked the first book and the concept, so I was like, I'll pick it up. I've been interested in it for a little bit. Basically, this story takes place in 2118 in Manhattan, and now everybody lives in this tower, and the higher up you are, the more elite you are, how much money you are. You're like higher up in society if you're on the higher floors, and if you're on the lower floors, you're like a peasant, basically. You're not great. I think this story like kicks off when somebody that they don't know, nobody knows, has never like lived there or something like that, falls off the top or like has been pushed off the top of the tower. I'm not exactly sure on that, but don't quote me, but I think that's kind of it. I'm interested. Moving on. The next books I'm about to show you all have one thing in common, and they are all by Leigh Bardugo. So we have Ruinin Rising by Leigh Bardugo, the third book in the Grisha trilogy. Basically, there was a sale going on at Indigo, which basically was like, if you buy 2 Leigh Bardugo books, you get the third one free, and I have only 3 books that I have yet to buy or like acquire of Leigh Bardugo's stuff that she's already published. And so obviously I haven't gotten Ruinin Rising yet because I haven't finished the Grisha trilogy. I already described the first book to you really bad, so go with that. I really don't like the cover of this book. I just don't think it looks good, but that's just me. That's just my opinion. The next book is Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. I already own Six of Crows, haven't read it yet. I intend to read it after the Grisha trilogy. Yeah, this is the sequel to Six of Crows. Basically, Six of Crows follows 6 people. They're like criminals, I guess, and they go on a heist. If you haven't heard of the description of Six of Crows, that's the best I can do for you. And the last book I have to show you is King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. This is the spin-off series, I guess, of the Grisha trilogy. This follows Nikolai, a character from the Grisha trilogy. I can't really describe this because 1, it's like a spin-off, I guess, and 2, I don't really know. So I also don't like the cover of this, and a lot of people like this cover, but you win some, you lose some. This is our haul for today. Ooh, my gosh. This is not good. So these are the books that I've hauled for you today. I don't think I can pick them up right now. I'll try, but we'll see. Here you go. This is our haul. So thank you so much for watching. My other social medias are linked below. Yeah, thanks again. I've been Bailey. Have a good day. Bye-bye.